faith and trust in God's timing. Welcome to this week's Wisdom Wednesday. As we prepare to celebrate Christmas, we're taking a closer look at the beauty of faith and the power of trusting God's perfect timing. Imagine the Israelites waiting and hoping for their Messiah. Centuries of anticipation, wondering, when will the promise be fulfilled? Yet, in the fullness of time, God's perfect plan unfolded. Just as their waiting had purpose, so does ours. Faith waits like a flower under the winter snow, blooming in God's perfect time. Like the Israelites waiting centuries for the Messiah, remember, God's clock doesn't tick on human schedules. God's timing is a masterpiece. Just like the most intricate painting, every brush stroke is placed perfectly. When waiting feels endless, imagine a seed underground, bursting with life unseen. Your season will bloom. Christmas reminds us that God's promises might feel delayed, but are never forgotten. For everything, there is a season. Ecclesiastes 3:1. Embrace each one with trust and patience. Like waiting for sunrise, trusting God means believing light will come even in the darkest hour. The Bible is filled with waited and won stories. Moses, Joseph, Hannah, they all saw God's promises unfold. Sometimes waiting isn't passive. It's an active trust, like holding a candle, hoping for dawn's arrival. Even a desert waits for rain. Soak in the hope that God's timing will bring refreshment in your dry season. Like a parent preparing a gift for Christmas morning, God's plans are worth the wait. Faith is an anchor in the waiting, keeping you steady until His promise sets sail. Trust in God's GPS. His route may seem slow, but He's always steering you to His best. Ever notice how birds don't rush their migration? Trust in your life's seasons to bring you home. When life feels on hold, remember that God's pauses are purposeful. God's promises are like planted seeds. With patience, you'll see the harvest. Ever tried to rush a sunset? Enjoy the beauty of God's timing unfolding right before you. Faith doesn't mean no questions. It means trusting when you don't have answers. God's promises are like stars. Sometimes you see them best in the darkest times. The Messiah came when the time was right. Wait expectantly, knowing God's timing is flawless. Waiting teaches us to rely on God's strength, not our own. A grapevine isn't rushed. Let your faith develop in God's timing for the sweetest fruit. The Israelites had prophets to remind them of the promise. Surround yourself with faith-filled voices. Imagine God wrapping His plans in layers, unwrapping at the perfect moment. God isn't slow as we count slowness. 2 Peter 3:9. His patience is purposeful. Life's detours are like surprise gifts. They might not be expected, but they're planned by Him. Waiting on God brings peace. Worry and hurry steal joy from the journey. Like snow covering the earth, trust that even in silence, God's working beneath the surface. God's timing aligns with His perfect knowledge. Lean not on your own understanding. Proverbs 3:5. Think of yourself as clay. God's hands shape in the waiting, creating His unique design. When life feels heavy, remember, God's timing lightens burdens and lifts you up. Patience isn't passive. It's filled with hope, like expecting rain after a drought. God's not yet is a gentle whisper that greater things are coming. Listen for it. Like a symphony, every note has its time. Trust the maestro with each moment of your life. God's plans are like diamonds, formed over time, revealing their worth slowly. Just as Advent is a season of preparation, Let your heart prepare for His perfect plan. Don't rush the sunrise. Wait on the Lord, for His light is worth it. Jesus waited 30 years for His ministry to begin. Timing was crucial even for Him. Trust God as the director. Every delay and change of plans is part of His divine script. God's delays are not denials. They are repositions for His perfect will. A tree's roots grow deep in waiting. Trust that your faith is growing stronger in the pause. The Messiah's birth was in a stable, not a palace. God's plans don't always look like we expect. Faith sees delays as divine, like rain delayed to prepare the earth for growth. Every season has a purpose. Just as fall prepares for winter, trust the timing. When patience is hard, remember God's promise in Isaiah 40:31. They who wait for the Lord shall renew their strength. Just as waves return to shore, God's promises circle back to fulfillment. Let your faith be like a lighthouse, constant and steady, lighting the way in waiting. Joy grows in the waiting. Keep your eyes on God, the author of every season. God's timing is never too early or too late. Embrace every moment as part of His beautiful plan. The promise of Christ was worth every moment of waiting. Whatever you're trusting Him for, it's worth it too. Thank you for joining us for Wisdom Wednesday. Remember, God's timing is flawless, and His plans for you are worth the wait. Embrace the season you're in, knowing He is working for your good and His glory. I'm your host, Abigail. Have a faith-filled day, and may God's peace guide you in every moment.